Stepped up on the ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Silent was in My Hero Academia. So, Silent is a character that I made. He was gonna be a girl, but that would have been too weird to, like, because actually one time, or like yesterday, I tried to look up silence, like, with it, that same thing, but somehow, silence, some of the, like, custom, like, AI's things, was trying to make her, or try to make him into a girl, and have the daughter with Rinko. Rinko, yeah. So, with that out of the way, let me let me explain what his powers and quirks have. So, he was born with 2 quirks and 2 most powerfulest powers. So, this is his. So, he can go invisible, and he can mute sound. That's why he got his name of Silence. Because both, you don't hear, like, ghosts, like, be, like, walking around with, like, really heavy sounds. Like what I just did. So, but his parents are, and his 2 powers are infinity and 0. So basically, I turned him into, like, a little bit of a ghost freak kind, because of he goes invisible and no one could hear him. That's why he has the tape over his mouth. That's tape, not mask. So, let's begin before I waste any more time. So, he has a sister. And no, it's not the invisible girl. And I was gonna put her in it, but I was like, you know what? No. Just no. Because, don't worry, I did not take her out of this story. So, I'm making her his best friend. So, yeah. Now, let's begin. At age of 3. Actually, after he was born, his parents decided to take away his voice, because they have a tradition, and the new child, or actually they had 2 kids, but she kept her voice, but the other, Tim, lost his, because and his name, they gave him the name of Silence. Silence because they took away his voice. So it's a family tradition thing until they proved to the parents of worthy of their voice. Yes, they are not getting it back. So, yeah. So he won't talk through most of these, but I'll do like he battles, like battles, but not hunt the. He is not the. How will I put this? He won't be talking. So, yeah. So now, oh, let's begin. So through the years, he went to a quirk doctor, and with his sister. His sister has a quirk, right? And only one quirk, but the other, as the quirk doctor says, the Silence has two quirks. Goes invisible, like fully invisible, and sound wave, or negate sounds, basically. Yeah. So, yeah. As the parents are like, wait, so he can go invisible and there's no sound at all. There is no sound when you combine those two into one quirk. That basically, when he goes invisible, you can't hear him do this. As the quirk doctor snaps his fingers, they they hear it, but when invisible, or yeah, when invisible, he tried his snapping ability, like, and none of them could hear, like, where, and then he reappears. So yeah, after the Quark Doctor, people are scared of him, like, out of their minds. Every time he shows up, people get super scared, except for one person. That one person is Rinko. Yeah. She loved him. The Yeah. No matter, she did not care if the people like or does not like him because how scary he is. So at the age of 15, let's do a time skip to 15. As he goes on And like he joins UA with Rinko. But the Class 1B students love to have the invisible person. Other than Class 1A, her. Yeah, her. 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 So him, might be. I forgot to mention, he might be the most powerfulest one too. Because he could go invisible without sound, and he has powers of infinity and zero. If he really wants to cut loose on certain people, all for one, you meet your match. So, yeah. So then, the so he's in Class 1B with Rinko. As Rinko always sat right next to him. Because everybody else is like terrified of him. So yeah. His sister doesn't even know how powerful he really get when he. Yeah. So the ball throw, he got 900 miles. That's pretty average. But he doesn't hold back on his own. The basically, yeah. As he calms himself down, so Zuko. So then, at UA, or actually, and the all from, or no, actually at USJ, let's say Class A, Class B were working together. They rode the same bus. Me bending my arm is, yeah. So Class A, Class B went to there. They got ambushed, and of course, the the Nomu, who reminded him of so much, like if he was a monster inside, as he's trying to keep himself balanced. As he goes invisible, Rinko understands, ends the his so but he walks up to the Nomu. Nomu didn't even see him walking up. And when he reappeared, he was a whole different person. He says this: time for you to die, or the Nomu. And in the split second, the Nomu's body exploded. There was no remains of it. There was only blood remained. As he gets up, or he looks at Shiraki-sen. Shiraki-sen's eyes widen as he could not believe this kid and just killed the only weapon that they have against All Might. And of course it sent shockwaves through most of the villains. Some of them start peeing their pants. And upon sight of looking, as he says, as this one word, and every villain was knocked out. Like, you know how, like, some people have, like, heart attacks things? Yeah. Well, Zuko, Silence has that, like, or all those villains had that feeling. As they collapsed onto the ground, shaking, inking, like an inflict of madness on them. That included Shiraki-sen. And as they as Shiraki-sen can't, as the Class 1A and Class 1B couldn't believe this kid and Ed. It was too powerful. As it goes, as he turns around, of course, the pro hero shows up. The policeman, as the policeman or those like villains are like, take me away. Yeah, they're away from that kid. And as when he relaxed, or actually, yeah, he looked at them. He sent shockwaves down all those villains' backs. Or actually, it didn't say a word, but his clap did that to him. Like he clapped once, and it made a sound of him talking. Or it sounded like it. So, yeah, that's him clapping. Like, clap, clap. Yeah. So, basically, the, eh, as he just relaxes, his own sister was like, could not believe that he went through the his own. So he went from a white hair, or no, he went from purple hair to white hair, then back to purple when he calmed down. As he curled up in the ball away from everybody. As Rinko walks over. Uh, as she knows that it wasn't his fault. Oh? Oh? As they. That, of course, it's. Or she still says, I love you. Oh, thing. So she says it right in front of him. When he. As she says to him that you're the only one and that did all that. And know that you don't have a voice. Because, okay? So, yeah. The, basically, his sister hasn't seen him, get, like, super, like that. So, yeah, sports festival, he went invisible and Soundwave as he runs, and they could not believe that like he goes. Some people are still scared of him, except for Rinko. When Rinko and him were in the changing room, you know what she did? She kissed him right on the lips. Um, yeah. So then they go, well, yeah. So he, yeah. So then all the stuff goes on and on. Zuko, or so Silence was proving to be better and better. His parents are pro heroes, so yeah. So during the fight one, the he let's say Zuko versus this is Zuko. Silence versus Zuko. As Silence was he did clap. Um, and if he had a voice, he would have probably said and something like, you know what makes a difference from being scared of everyone or getting turned into a monster is one normal day. So yeah, when the Zuko's so he says, or no, actually Zuko says, ready, set, you bet. So then Silence turned all like powered up. Like he went completely like Super Saiyan thing. And as he says, or not what he says, so he looks at him with wide eyes as he can't control himself once he gets so he goes, beats around Zuko. Like basically toss him around like a little rag doll. As everyone could not believe it. As he and kicked him all the way out of the ring, it slamming him into the wall. And then came back, did that again and again and again. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, so then he went back to normal, purple-haired one, as he doesn't know how to do sign language, so he still... So, yeah. After the sports festival, the internship, everyone got scared of him, so no one chose him. So he does battle against Hero Killer Stain, yeah. And guess who won? Silent. Yeah. Silent has won against and Hero Killer Stain. And because he wasn't in the internship, so he got Hero Killer Stain behind bars in about 2 seconds. The pro heroes went for the years, but then the Silent only did it for 2 seconds. Like he was done in an instant. So, yeah. So then he So then the Cam Park, the he, he so he basically, everyone thought he was gonna be a villain. And before, like, let me go back into the past before, like so everyone thought he was gonna be a villain because he could rob banks without raising any suspicions. He can't, like, trigger any alarms or anything like that. So, yeah. Plus, with his powers of infinity and zero, he can bend all, like, the entire world to his will. Yeah. But he stayed true to his heart, or to them, that he won't, like, become a villain. So everyone was like, okay, now we get back into the Cam Park. The Cam Park was just weird, and yeah, so they ended up going to a secret place, as he allows his, or of course, when he can use it in his purple haired form or white hair form. So he can fly like a ghost. He could go invisible without any sound. He can fly. He faster than electricity, like light, faster than light. Thing. So yeah. So then but he did had, when Zero is also allowed him to see who died, or actually before, he actually did, like, protect the Koda's parents from the jaws of defeat one, and ended up giving it to Musculaire. So Musculaire was knocked out, like, completely, like, his body shuts down, his quirk was shutting down, his body was, or he was too terrified of silence. He literally, when he was backing up, he literally turned himself in, as he wasn't even in his that form. He was in his human form, purple haired form. So yeah, when he's around, like, after he was born, it was like a curse to him. Everyone except for Rinko, as he puts his hand on his chest. And at the camp park, when he was in his own tent, and he was in the forest area, he was separate from like the rest of them because his his because every time he's near somebody, like when they are having the dreams, it turns into a nightmare, like 100%. So he's always been sleeping by himself, blaming himself for him being born earned that way. Yeah. The but he still thinks about Rinko. No. I said Rinko, not Inko. The Rinko is a that yeah, her. She likes spooky stuff, but she loved him, who he really is. She didn't care if he was a because his superhero name is actually called Ghost of Infinity. Infinity. As some people are like, like has the same face, like same pose as what Momo's doing in this one, and like that makes sense because I like that name because the ghost part I can see. But why do you choose Infinity? As he used a chalkboard to write out the entire sentence. And when as they're like, wait, so you're saying in this, you're saying that you were born with two quirks and two different powers. The one of them is infinity and the other is zero. As he nods his head. And man, yeah. So yeah. So then he battles against his opponent, or after he trained his both quirks. And yeah, now All Might, or actually, it's between now All Might versus All for One. And the only person that got kidnapped was Silence. Everybody knows. So the villains tried to recruit him into their League of Villains. So, yeah. So Silence has, as everybody's like, so then Pro Heroes comes in, they do that stuff, they teleported and the villains and Silence away. And So so then Zuko, or so All Might versus All for One. All Might was down, and but he wasn't out. Like, look how bruised he is. As All for One's about to kill him in the last words. And as out of the blue, the ghost of the Infinity, that's his nickname, or his hero name, went and possessed All for One. As he turned his arm before the laser went off, and right at the All for One's face. It got blown halfway through. As he... Yeah. So his regeneration slowly kicks in. He gets beaten around like a little ragdoll. As All Might is like... He knew what's going on. As he gets out, he was in his white form, like he has a hair that's white. Yeah, so he ends up as All for One's like, show me your true power, Silence. Your parents didn't love you as much as your own. They loved your daughter, or no, your sister more than you. As the inside of him, the dark core, made him go supernova. Like, and I'm using this scene from like Broly one from Dragon Ball Z because the Zuko or Silence used his full power at the max, like literally, like all the way over 9,999. No, over infinity, as everyone could feel the aura of Silence's rampage. This power, no one ever sensed it before. As All for One says, this is your ultimate power, infinity and zero at its maximal power. You can outlive all of us. Now. And you can sense how powerful you really get when your body handles it. Because Silence's body he was born so powerful, like his body, and he can handle all that power. Our as his aura, threatening aura, like when he went all Super Saiyan like that, he went into, like, yeah. So he battles against, or he literally went toe to toe with All For One and won. As because after All For One said to him that his parents loved his sister more than him, so he calms down. As he goes away. Yeah, he just disappeared. And so the next day they were at the school, like UA. Rinko was not really waiting for him, but he showed up before. Scares her half to death, but not really. She knew that he was there, so she hugs him and more. So because he saw some improvements, and plus his parents saw some lot of improvements that did to during the All For One fight thing. Yeah. It was time for him to get his voice back. But because they don't see him at all. Like, basically, he even told them, or no, actually they told each other that probably what All For One said and was probably, or was true, as because they know that he stayed away from them and ended up, because when he first showed his true powers, like during this USJ one, he only was using 0.1% of his power. Yeah. And then at and power thing in like or during the All Might versus All for One, or should I say All for One versus Silence, was they both he used 100% and of his power. Then yeah, he wasn't in control. Well, he was in control of his own power. He can't control his own anger, his hatred for everyone. So his own sister is in class 1A, but she doesn't see him at all. Like, she sees him only when she wants to, or if he wants to. But he spends more time with Rinko than with his own family. He sees her as his wife thing. Of course, Rinko tells him that let's get married and yeah. So So now it was class 1B versus class 1A. I'm changing the little bit of the arcs. Usually it's like overhaul arc, but in this alternate timeline, class 1B was the versus class 1A. The class 1A still wins. Ends. But the first round he actually got, or class 1B won the first round, because when he's in his that form, he scares every class 1A student were like, okay, that's it. Yeah. He was only using 15% of his power. So then, yeah. So then his sister finally caught up to him, and told him that their parents wanted him to go back to them, as he knows that, but he feels like he didn't prove them enough. As he literally wrote it on a floor. As his sister looks at him, And like, she says this: you proved them to them a lot. You took out, and plus you also proved it to me too. Because, as she says, I know that with your power, our is quite powerful. 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 So, yeah. So Zuko, oh, so everybody's like, yeah, you took out the villains. Plus, with everything going on, yeah. So, now please wait for part 2 before I blather too much.